Hi everyone, Angus Campbell here. It's Wednesday the 4th of October 2023. Right, ploughing on with the Silver Jubilee Bonneville. So, the plan for this video stroke series of clips is to complete the build-up of the cylinder head. It's to clean and paint the barrels and at the same time replace the base nuts, and then if we get chance maybe we'll prep these parts for painting, and then we'll just about be there for reassembly. So just before we do or begin again on the head, just to let you know that I measured the free length on the valve springs. They're all good. So I think it's 41.3 millimeters external spring, internal spring 38.9 millimeters. And also, while we're here, I've done the same for the front fork springs, 19.1 inches, and they're bang on, if not a little bit longer. So all good though there too, even though, you know, there were concerns that maybe they're a bit short or there's not enough tension on them when I was disassembling. But no, we're all good. So let's get on to the head. And the first thing we're going to do is, now we've given it a couple of baths in the ultrasonic cleaner and we've cleaned everything up with a wire wheel. What we need to do now with the head, before we then start prepping the valves, etc., and cleaning those up, is we're going to give, firstly, we're going to give this a bit of a grind on the face to make sure there's no low spots. The way I'm going to do that is with a glass and some valve grinding paste. That should work quite well. We could put a straight edge across there, but there's no point because sometimes you can't, it's difficult to perceive, you know, where there's a low spot. So we'll do that first, and then we're going to give it another bath in the ultrasonic cleaner, a final bath with clean fluid. So let's crack on with that now. So first things first, we'll do a bit of a light grinding with a plate of glass on that face just to see where we are. Right, first things first, let's get rid of this filth from the last bath of the cylinder head so we can replenish it with new. So this will take a little while. It's 30 litres. And we use detergent in this. You don't use solvent, not at 60 centigrade. And the detergent is in that white container there. Getting a bit low actually. Anyway, 3 litres of that. Top it up with fresh water and we should be away. Right, I'll get on with that. Bring you back when I'm done. Right, there we go. Nice fresh fluid. Grills are in. So we're ready to go. So we'll get the ultrasonic cleaner heating up. It's a bit late in the evening now, so we'll do it tomorrow. We'll get the head in. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is, sorry, the bench is a bit of a mess, but under here there's more of these, i.e. more parts to paint. So we'll get on with clearing up the bench and getting the wire wheels on the bench grinder on this lot, clean them up, because tomorrow, which is now the 10th, I think, 10th of October tomorrow, it's going to be a lovely day. So that's another painting day and get the washing line out. So that's what we'll do. Well, some parts are cleaning up easy and some not so easy. So the ones that are pretty easy are the ones that have been sprayed up before on top of remnants of factory paint. And the ones that are a bit more difficult are the remnants of the factory paint, which is probably powder coating. But we'll keep at it. Now, just to mention, this is the left and rear engine plate. And this was the one on the bike that looked as though it was some sort of greyish, silverish finish on it. And then when we took it off, we found the reverse side was black, had been painted black. And the side facing out, the one you could see, as I say, was this dull finish. And it was just primer. So whether or not they'd forgotten to paint that face of it, but just thought, oh well, we'll splash it, just bloody well ram it together. As it was, I've no idea. But it was just primer and no top coat. So anyway, we're getting on with it, and the list of parts to paint actually is getting ever longer. So this will be the second batch of several. These are just some engine plates here that, not engine plates, other plates for mainly the rear brake and master cylinder. And these have been painted before, but I just have to degrease these first, so I think the paint will come off all right on these. Although there's rather strange finishes on these two. Is it this one? Yeah, I mean, what the hell's all that? I haven't started to try and take the remnants of the paint off this yet. I've just degreased it. Almost looks as though, there was shuffling this part about, trying to get it on while the paint was still wet. So all different finishes all over the place. And the reason why the painting list is getting longer is, of course, I haven't even started to attack this lot yet. So there's the battery carrier, complete with, as somebody pointed out, the correct location for the flasher unit relay on its spring. It should have been in there, but it was just loose. The battery carrier's in a bit of a state, but it's in one piece, and there's a remnant there of its original strap, which it didn't have. That's all that was left, if I can get it in picture. And then we've got the tool tray and electrical tray. So I'm going to take those electrical components off and do that. And then we've also got the side panels, etc. to do as well. So that's going to be a pretty big batch in its own right. So we'll just put that away under there, out of sight, out of mind for now. And let's get on with stuff over here, because this will allow us to at least, put some parts together around the rear engine plate, rear brake stroke master cylinder, rear mudguard, etc. And then we'll get on to focusing on the, once we've done got the head back on the barrels, then we can focus on the sort of bit in between, which is all this lot on the side panels. So that's a plan. But I've got to come back to this shortly anyway. Once we've got the head having its final bath, we'll come over here, degrease the barrels, take the barrel basements off. But while we're degreasing the barrels, we'll just degrease this back end as well and clean all this up, because we're nearly at the point now. I think I've said this several times, where we've got to our baseline to build from. The only other thing I have spotted is that there is going to need to be a little bit of touching up to be done on the chain guard and the rear mudguard, but it's not too bad. So, right, so we'll get back to finish prepping this lot, and as I say, tomorrow morning we'll get the head in to have another bath. Right, next morning, so October the 10th now, head set up, ready to have a look at this face. Just got the ultrasonic cleaner warming up, that'll take a while. Got the washing line up as the weather's nice for the next bit of painting. It's supposed to be 21 this afternoon. It's around about lunchtime now, actually, not morning. So it's warming up quite nicely. But what I didn't mention was that we just want to check, obviously, this mating face of the head. And there's two ways of doing that, and I use both. So the first one is obviously your old straight edge with the light behind. And I've already done this, and it looks good to me. Usually it's the centre that gets a bit low, but it's looking pretty good. But you can see that, you know, there's some slight burrs on that face. So the other way of doing it is grind it with a bit of plate glass, or in this case a mirror, glass mirror, with a bit of rough grinding paste, and that'll mat the surface, and you'll be able to see any sort of low spots straight away, and be able to grind it down without, you know, going too mad on it. So we won't need to skim this at all. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but a bit of a light grinding will show us that. So let's do that now. Well, there you go. So I've just done a very quick, only 30-second light grind with the glass plate, and you can see already that the centre is low. Not by much, so it's not going to take much to sort it out, but it's definitely low. So it would have been blowing by there slightly, probably. Right, let's give it another minute and I'll bring you back. Right, we're getting there. 2 goes of a minute each with fresh paste, and you can see that area there, the light area, is decreasing. So we're nearly there. Only a thou or two probably, but another 2 goes should see that done. So let's crack on. There you go. I think we're just about there. You can feel when the grinding paste is beginning to get less effective and it starts to get a bit sticky, and also on the face as well. You can see where it's been grinding away metal because aluminium, because it goes grey. So I'll just take you off the stand and bring it back and show you a close up. So there you go, nice and even sort of grey all the way around. And also what the grinding paste does obviously is slightly roughen the mating surface too, so that gives us more surface area to hopefully nip down onto the head gasket, which we're going to replace. We're not going to use composite, we're going to put a copper one on if we can. We need to be mindful of being able to obviously adjust valve clearances with a thicker gasket, but I'm pretty sure that's probably what they were fitted with originally, but we'll have a look in the parts book anyway. But that's looking much better. So we'll give that a wipe down, and then once the old cleaner's up to temperature, we'll give it a bath, give it a good clean up, And then we're on to just doing a really light grinding of the valves. I've got to clean the valves up yet, just on the bench wire brush, but that won't take 2 seconds. But you can see the valve seats are really in pretty good condition, even the exhaust ones, so they're not going to take much grinding in at all, but same paste. Right, let's clean her up. Right, the cylinder head's in cooking, having a first 15-minute session with the ultrasonics. It's up to about nearly 50 degrees, so we're well on the way. Getting on with the painting outside. Undercoat's done on most of them, but there were a couple of parts I wasn't happy with at all. So I've come back in, and the only way you're going to sort out any bad prep is to go back to bare metal and spend some more time on the bench wire wheel. And they are absolutely bare metal now. This is one of the rear silencer mounting plates. It looks a bit bent to me, and it's had a pretty rough life, but that's the best we can get it. All the paint's off, and hopefully that'll smooth off a bit, that rough surface, once we get a few coats of primer and then the top coat. But anyway, that's as good as we're going to get, I think. So we'll get those on the line now and get some undercoat on those, because we need to get on and start top coating while the weather's still warm. Cylinder head behind bars, so first cook done, so I'll turn that over in a second, and we'll give it another 15 minutes after a bit of a soak. And top coats on outside. It's not windy. It's not the wind that's been moving those about, it's me. But anyway, pleased with that, and certainly glad that I went back and just started again with some of those plates. They're so much better. Right. Yeah, let's get on with this, and shortly I'll give another couple of coats to those, and we can bring those inside then to harden off for a few days, and then we'll get on to cleaning up and painting the barrels, and at the same time just degreasing some of this back end and cleaning up. Shouldn't be too bad. Right, onwards. Right, head out and looking pretty good. Pretty pleased with that. Maybe a little more sort of light wire brushing to be done, just to bring up the lustre a little bit, but yeah, it's pretty clean. So all good. Cleaned up the valves on the wire wheel, and even the exhaust ones cleaned up totally. There's sorry, it's difficult to focus that. You might be able to see some very, very light pitting on the valve seat, which you'd expect on exhaust. Not on the valve seat, on the valve. So that'll clean up all right. Inlets, obviously a bit better as they don't get so hot. But yep, all cleaned up pretty well. Oh, got the shakes. Yeah, a light grinding will clean those seat edges up nicely. Again, exhaust one, bit more, but nothing drastic. Good. And then, yeah, finally for today, as the day's nearly gone, we've got the painted items inside. Looking pretty good. Difficult to see, I know, because the light's in the wrong place, but yeah, they've got a bit of a sheen on them. But anyway, we'll let those fully dry out for a couple of days, and then it might be worth giving them a light sand. Yeah, looking at it now, probably a light sand and a top coat. But anyway, they're coming on well. Pleased with them as they are for now, and definitely pleased with getting the 2 plates that I was disappointed with back to bare metal and starting again. Definitely worth it. Right, I don't know why I'm showing you that, but anyway, right. Time is marching on. So 2 next jobs that I've mentioned thousands of times before. Clean up the barrels and paint and the rear end, and put the valves in. But I'm thinking I might leave it there. Let me just check and see how many minutes of video with respect to all the clips we've put together, and if it's getting too long, we'll leave it there and we'll leave the next jobs for the next video. So let me just check. Well, you've only got 21 minutes of this video so far, so let's crack on and do a little bit more. So firstly, I've just done a bit of cleaning up of the back end here, and it's looking an awful lot better. And also on the motor side as well. So I've got a bit more degreasing to do on the barrels before I paint those. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just lightly grind in the valves on the head, and we'll reinstall the valves and springs. So I've got out the old trusty valve grinding stick. I've got the paste. This is coarse and fine. I don't usually bother with fine. Just do it. Run it coarse, and that's good enough. So I'll just set the head up on the, not on the bench, but on the vise. God, I nearly dropped it. And just get these ground in. Got the valve spring compressor still handy. So I'll crack on with that, and I'll bring you back, and then we'll probably end it there. So I've just done a light grind, and what we're aiming for, which you can just see on there in the centre, is that dark line, a nice dark line, even dark line all the way around. And similarly on the valve itself, in this little thin centre line on the seating area. And we want to see that all the way around. So we're all good. I don't think the inlet's really needed doing, but we'll just do the same on the other side. Get those in, and then there's a bit more grinding to do on the exhaust side. Right, now I'll crack on with this, get those together, and I'll bring you back when I'm done. Down to the last valve now, the left-hand exhaust valve, and this is the worst one. You can see it's pitted. So this will need a little bit more grinding, but shouldn't be too bad really. Anyway, let's get on with this, and I'll just show you it before I reinstall it with its springs. Okay, there we are. Job done. It's polished up rather well because I cheated a bit with this. I had to get the drill on it to help with getting the little tiny minor pits out, and it was a lot quicker, so it's actually polished up a little bit, but it's fine. It's nice and clean, and the valve seat's beautiful. Right, put this back together, and that's the head done. Right, head all done, ready to go. And I've just started to undo the nut at the base of the barrel, and we're beginning to get a bit of a theme here because I didn't have to put any force on that one at all because it was loose. The other side of the barrel had a bit of, I had to put a bit of pressure on that. This one's loose. I hadn't touched these before, I'm bloody sure of it. that one had a bit of pressure on it, so that's okay. So there's a bit of a theme here with this engine, so I think we need to go around and check maybe crankcase bolts, and also obviously the side cover screws as well, primary case and timing case screws. So let's get the rest of these off, which isn't going to take much at all, and then we'll do a bit of degreasing on the barrel. Okay, barrel base nuts all off, and the barrel's sort of degreased, cleaned up, wire brushed. Just need to let it dry out a little bit more now, and then we'll be ready for painting. Might give it another bit of prep, but it's not come up too bad. It looks as though in the centre fins here there's a lot of crud there, but it's just very rough casting, so we should be all right. Got the rings off the base of the cam follower guides. That's these. They're just pushed on, and there were well, what looked to be the proper seals at the base of that, but liberally coated in silicone, which I normally do. To be honest, that left-hand seal there, that doesn't look like a proper seal to me. It's very, very thin. That's not right. Whereas this one's a lot better. But anyway, we've got a full correct set for that as well. Right, so next thing, you're going to be painting the barrels and then putting the head on with a new head gasket. Myself and Greg have both agreed we're going to put a copper one on, assuming that's what we've got in the set. We've yet to see, and then we'll put the head on and show you how these heads are held on because of the modifications that they had to do to be able to get the rocker boxes off in the spine frame. Right, we'll leave it there for now with a picture of that, and I'll see you all again soon. Thanks very much for your interest, comments, and any subscriptions. Take care, and as I say, see you soon when we crack on. Toodaloo.